Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're plunging into something really valuable for anyone charting a course in project management.
Hmm.
That's the Certified Associate in Project Management, or CAPM certification.
Right.
Our mission, well, it's to give you a shortcut, essentially, to mastering the core concepts and domains. We've structured this as an interactive quiz, to test and really solidify your knowledge.
That's exactly right. The CAPM, offered by PMI, the Project Management Institute, it's globally recognized.
Yeah.
And it's not just a line on your resume. It really validates your foundational understanding of project management.
Yeah.
So we've got 20 practice questions lined up, sourced from Flash Genius, covering those really critical areas you'll see on the exam. We want to unpack each one, not just for the right answer, but for those, aha moments. That's where the real learning happens.
Think of this as your own personal audio study session. It's
Yeah.
really tailor-made to help you pinpoint any knowledge gaps, yeah? And strengthen what you already know, connect the dots between these concepts.
Yeah.
We'll be covering agile frameworks, business analysis, predictive plan-based stuff, and project management fundamentals. So get ready to engage mentally, or, hey, grab a notepad because we're about to test your project management know-how and hopefully deepen your understanding.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's kick things off with our first domain, agile frameworks and methodologies. This area, it's all about adaptability, collaboration, iterative development. So let's see how you navigate its principles.
Ready when you are.
Here's your first challenge. In an agile project, who is primarily responsible for making sure the team sticks to agile principles and practices, the correct answer is the Scrum Master.
Yeah, this is such a crucial distinction in Agile. Scrum Master, they are a traditional manager who assigns tasks. They're more like a servant leader, a coach.
Okay.
Their main job is to help the team understand and actually use Agile values and Scrum practices effectively.
Yeah.
They clear roadblocks, protect the team from distractions, make sure the process flows. It's a big shift from, like, command and control.
Right. It's about enabling the team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Empowering them. It's fundamental to the Agile Practice Guide.
That's a really powerful difference, moving from directing to enabling. So thinking about someone maybe used to being a traditional project manager, what's the biggest mindset shift needed to really embrace that servant leader idea, especially when, project pressures mount?
Oh, that's a great question. I think the biggest shift is trusting the team. Trusting them to self-organize and figure out problems instead of you jumping in with solutions. It's about coaching, asking good questions, clearing the path for them, not, micromanaging every little detail. When deadlines loom, it's tempting to revert, right?
Totally.
But a good Scrum Master helps the team keep focus, protects their process, helps them collaborate under that pressure. It's about helping the team deliver, not just pushing them.
Fantastic insight. Really helpful. Okay, let's take that agile idea and apply it to a common workflow challenge. Question 2. A team's using Kanban to manage their workflow. They notice work items are piling up in the in-progress column. What should they do? The best thing to do is to identify bottlenecks and address them to improve flow.
Exactly. Kanban is all about visualizing your work and optimizing that flow. And a key way to do that is limiting work in progress. The WIP limits.
Right, the WIP limit.
Think of them like a speed limit on your workflow, yeah.
Yeah.
They stop you pulling in new stuff before the old stuff is done. If things are piling up, that's a huge red flag. It means some part of your process is overloaded or stuck a bottleneck. Just raising the WIP limit or pushing items through prematurely. That's like trying to fix a traffic jam by just letting more cars onto the blocked road. It doesn't fix the actual problem.
Doesn't solve anything.
No. You got to figure out why the flow is blocked and fix that. That continuous improvement cycle is pure Agile.
That traffic jam analogy really hits home. You wouldn't just add more lanes if the traffic light is broken. Makes perfect sense.
Precisely. It's about fixing the system, not just pushing harder.
Moving on, let's dive into the core philosophy, the heart of Agile. This principle is absolutely key to how value gets delivered.
Okay.
Question 3. Which principle of the Agile Manifesto emphasizes the importance of delivering working software frequently? The principle is: deliver working software frequently, from a couple of weeks to a couple of months, with a preference to the shorter timescale.
Yes, and this one directly drives that iterative nature of Agile. It's not enough to plan value. You have to actually deliver working stuff, tangible increments, to the customer often.
Right, working software.
This gives you constant feedback, lets you course correct early, keeps stakeholders involved. Now, yeah, customer collaboration, responding to change, those are vital too.
Yeah.
But this principle specifically targets the frequency and the reality of delivery, making sure the product grows in the right direction.
You can really see how that frequent feedback loop cuts down risk dramatically. Okay, let's think about the people doing the work, the team itself.
The team, right?
Question 4. What is a key characteristic of an agile team? Agile teams are typically cross-functional and self-organizing.
And this is really a cornerstone of agile, like the PMBOK guide says. It's so different from traditional structures where work gets handed off between specialized silos, right?
Silos, yeah.
Agile teams are built to have all the skills needed within the team to get a piece of work done, start to finish. That cross-functionality cuts down dependencies, delays, but maybe even more important is that they're self-organizing.
Okay.
They figure out how best to do the work together rather than just taking orders. That leads to more ownership, faster problem solving, just way more adaptability.
So it's not just having the skills, but also trusting the team to decide how to use them. That's really empowering. Okay, last one for Agile for now. Let's talk daily rhythm.
The daily check-in.
Question 5. What is the primary purpose of a daily stand-up meeting in Agile? The main purpose is to synchronize team activities and plan for the next 24 hours.
Right, often called the daily scrum. And it's meant to be short, focused, like 15 minutes max, usually standing up to keep it brief.
Keep it moving.
Exactly. It's not for deep dives into problems or long status reports. It's really for each person to quickly answer. What did I do yesterday to help the team? What will I do today? Any blockers in my way?
Simple questions.
Yeah, simple but powerful. It creates transparency, helps the team coordinate for the day, and flags any immediate problems. It's like a daily pulse check for alignment and flow.
That structure sounds super efficient for keeping everyone on the same page without getting bogged down.
Okay, so we've navigated the dynamic world of Agile where change is expected. But, being Agile doesn't help much if you're building the wrong thing.
True.
So our next set of ideas under business analysis frameworks looks at that crucial upstream work, making sure projects deliver actual value that people really need. Let's start foundational.
Okay, business analysis. Let's go.
Question 6. What is the primary purpose of a business case in project management? It is to justify the investment in a project. Yeah, and a business case is way more than just paperwork. It's a serious decision-making tool. It lays out the expected benefits, the likely costs, the risks involved, how it fits strategically. Basically, it forces the question, is this project really worth doing? It makes the organization quantify the value versus the resources needed. Without a solid business case, you risk pouring time and money into projects that, well, maybe don't align or won't deliver. It's the gatekeeper.
That's a great way to put it. The gatekeeper against those pet projects, maybe. Following that, let's think about timing. When do you do these kinds of evaluations?
Good question. Timing is key.
Question 7. During which phase of a project is a business analyst most likely to conduct a feasibility study? The correct phase is initiating.
Absolutely. Right at the beginning, in the initiating phase. A feasibility study asks, can we actually do this? Doing it early, before you sink loads of resources into planning and building, is vital.
Makes sense.
It looks at whether it's practical, technically, economically, legally, operationally, schedule-wise. It's proactive. Helps you avoid costly mistakes by finding potential showstoppers right away. Is it just desirable, or is it actually achievable?
It's all about that upfront due diligence. Okay, this next concept is about keeping all the pieces connected throughout the project's life.
Traceability, yeah.
Question 8. What is the main purpose of requirements traceability in business analysis? It's to track the status of requirements throughout the project lifecycle.
Requirements traceability is it's a really powerful technique. It creates this documented link, like a thread, from where each requirement first came from through its design, build, testing, all the way to when it's actually delivered.
Like a web connecting everything.
Exactly. A web connecting every stakeholder need to the specific feature built for it. This gives you clarity, helps you see the impact if a requirement changes, and crucially, helps you prove that all the original needs were actually met. It's essential for managing scope and making sure you deliver the promised value.
That sounds indispensable for stopping scope creep and just making sure nothing gets dropped. Okay, let's visualize how users are going to interact with whatever we're building.
Use cases, right?
Question 9. In a business analysis context, what is the primary purpose of creating a use case diagram? The main purpose is to model the interaction between users and the system.
Yeah, use case diagrams are great visuals for understanding what the system does from the user's point of view.
Yeah.
They show who the actor interacts with the system and what the use case they can do with it.
Okay.
They don't really go into the internal logic or how the steps flow, but they give that high-level picture of how users experience the system. This helps make sure the design actually meets user needs and delivers what was intended, makes it clear what functions need to be built.
So really putting yourself in the user's shoes.
Lead.
Got it. And finally, for business analysis, let's just solidify the overall role itself.
The BA's core job.
Question 10. Which of the following is a key responsibility of a business analyst in a project environment? A key responsibility is defining stakeholder requirements.
Exactly.
Yeah.
While the PM might focus on the how and when, the BA is that critical bridge. They connect the stakeholders with the project team, making sure the what is clearly understood and written down.
The what?
They elicit, analyze, validate, manage those requirements. They translate often fuzzy business needs into specific, actionable things the team can actually build. Without a good BA, you run a huge risk of building the wrong thing or just missing what stakeholders really wanted, no matter how well the project is managed.
Makes perfect sense. Can't build it right if you don't know what right is.
Yeah.
Okay, shifting gears again. Let's move from the adaptive world of Agile and the upstream focus of BA to the more traditional predictive plan-based methodologies. These are all about planning upfront, sequential steps, tight control.
Right, the waterfall approach, or similar. Lots of planning.
Question 11. A project manager is estimating costs for a new project. Which estimation technique uses historical data from similar past projects to predict future costs? That technique is analogous estimating.
Analogous estimating, yeah. It's a top-down technique, usually quick, often used early on when you don't have all the details yet. You basically look at a similar past project, maybe similar size or complexity, and use its cost data as a starting point for the current one. The key is the analogy.
How similar is it, really?
Exactly. Its accuracy really depends on how truly alike the projects are and if your historical data is any good. So what's the trade-off? You get speed, but you might sacrifice precision, especially compared to something like bottom-up estimating where you detail everything out.
So a good starting point, maybe, but not the final cost. Okay, this next one is fundamental for breaking down any big piece of work.
The WBS, essential.
Question 12. What is the primary purpose of a work breakdown structure, WBS, in a plan-driven project? The primary purpose of a WBS is to decompose project deliverables into manageable components.
What's really powerful about the WBS is how it creates this hierarchy, breaking down all the work needed. Think of it like a detailed org chart or family tree for the project scope.
I like the family tree analogy.
Yeah. You start with the main project goal at the top, then break it into major deliverables, then into smaller parts, down to what we call work packages. Each level gets more detailed. This breakdown makes sure you've captured everything, nothing's missed, and the tasks are small enough to actually estimate, assign, and manage effectively. It's the foundation for pretty much all planning.
That family tree visual really clarifies how it all connects. Okay, now what about putting all those smaller tasks in the right order, especially when they depend on each other?
Sequencing, yeah. Critical path comes to mind.
Question 13. A project manager needs to ensure an accurate sequence of activities for interdependent tasks. Which tool or technique should they prioritize? The answer is the critical path method, CPM.
CPM. Absolutely essential for scheduling in these plan-driven projects. It systematically finds the longest sequence of tasks that have to be done on time for the whole project to finish as early as possible.
The longest path dictates the shortest time.
Exactly. That critical path sets the minimum project duration. Any delay to any task on that path, it delays the entire project. So understanding CPM lets PMs focus their attention and resources on those crucial tasks, managing those dependencies to keep things on track.
Sounds like a really powerful way to know where your project's biggest time risks are. Speaking of success, quality is always crucial.
Always. You have to build it right.
Question 14. A project manager needs to ensure that all project deliverables meet the required quality standards. Which process should they focus on? The focus should be on control quality.
Right. While quality planning is where you decide what the standards are, control quality is the active part. It's about monitoring the actual results, the deliverables, to see if they meet those standards and figuring out how to fix things if they don't.
Like tasting the soup while you cook.
Perfect analogy. You taste it throughout, checking against the recipe, not just hoping it's okay at the end. Control quality involves inspections, measurements, tests to make sure what you're producing is fit for purpose, meets expectations, and allows you to take corrective action quickly if needed.
That chef analogy makes it really clear it's an ongoing thing, not just a final check. Okay, let's revisit the critical path method just one more time to be crystal clear.
Good idea. It's fundamental.
Question 15. Which of the following best describes the critical path method in predictive project management? It is a method for determining the longest path through the project schedule.
And that just hammers home that CPM is specifically a scheduling technique. It's focused on time management. It's not directly about risks or stakeholders or budget allocation that would influences those. It's an analytical tool for figuring out the project timeline in these plan-driven environments. Understanding that distinction is key for CAPM.
All right, we've covered agile, business analysis, predictive methods. Now we're at our final domain. Project management fundamentals and core concepts. These are like the bedrock principles, right? They apply pretty much everywhere, no matter the specific methodology.
Absolutely. The core building blocks.
Question 16. A project manager is preparing a communication plan. What's the most important factor to consider when figuring out how often to communicate? The most important factor is stakeholder communication needs.
Yeah, if you think about it, effective communication isn't just blasting out info. It's about sending the right info at the right time to the right people using the right channel.
Tailoring it.
Exactly. Tailoring the frequency, the content, the method to what each stakeholder group actually needs ensures it's relevant, keeps them engaged, and avoids either drowning them in noise or leaving them in the dark. Too much, too little, wrong time, that all leads to problems. Confusion, disengagement, delays.
That makes so much sense. That one-size-fits-all email blast is probably not effective for everyone. Okay, next up, clarifying who does what on the team.
Roles and responsibilities. Always important.
Question 17. During the execution phase, you notice team members seem unclear about their roles and responsibilities. What document should you point them to for clarification? You should refer to the Responsibility Assignment Matrix, RAM.
The RAM, yeah.
Yeah.
Often shown as a RESI chart, responsible, accountable, consulted, informed. It's specifically designed to spell out who does what, task by task, deliverable by deliverable, at a pretty detailed level.
More detail than the chart.
Oh yeah, the charter might list high-level roles, but the RAM gets into the nitty-gritty. It prevents that confusion, stops people duplicating effort, and makes sure someone is clearly accountable for each piece of work. It's really vital for team harmony and just getting things done efficiently, especially on complex projects.
Sounds like a lifesaver for avoiding those, oops, I thought you were doing that moments. Definitely need one of those. Okay, this next document is basically the project's official birth certificate and permission slip.
The starting gun.
Question 18. Which document formally authorizes a project and gives the project manager the authority to use resources for project activities? That would be the project charter.
The project charter. It's incredibly important, really foundational. It's not just a piece of paper. It officially launches the project. It sets out the high-level goals, stakeholders, initial scope, and crucially, like you said, it empowers the project manager, gives them the formal authority to start using organizational resources, people, budget, equipment.
Without it, you're not really official.
Pretty much. Without a signed charter, the project doesn't technically exist in an official capacity, and the PM doesn't have the legitimate power to act. It's the birth certificate and the initial mandate.
Got it. The formal permission slip with real power behind it. Speaking of projects, let's define the term itself. We use it all the time, but what is a project fundamentally in PM terms?
Good question. The core definition.
Question 19. Which of the following is a key characteristic of a project? A key characteristic is that it produces a unique product, service, or result.
That's the core definition, straight from the PMBOK guide. Projects are temporary, they have a start and an end. But the other key part is they're undertaken to create something unique.
Not routine operations.
Exactly. That's what separates them from ongoing operations, which are repetitive. Whether it's building new software, a bridge, running a marketing campaign, a project aims to deliver something distinct, something specific. Understanding the unique, temporary nature is fundamental to everything else in project management.
That unique output really is the defining feature. Okay, last question for our deep dive today. Who's the project's ultimate champion within the organization?
The sponsor. Critical role.
Question 20. What is the role of a project sponsor in a project? The role is to provide resources and support for the project and ensure it is aligned with business objectives.
Yes, the project sponsor is that critical, high-level stakeholder. usually an executive, someone with the clout to secure funding, resources, high-level backing. But their role is more than just signing checks. They're the link between the project and the organization's big-picture strategy. They help remove major roadblocks, make key decisions when things get stuck, and constantly ensure the project stays aligned with those business goals. They're active, visible support. It's often one of the biggest factors in whether a project succeeds or fails. Wow. Okay, we just burned through 20 questions there, covering 4 major CAPM domains.
Yeah.
From the collaborative feel of Agile to the critical path in predictive planning and the absolute essential role of a project charter. You've hopefully not just tested your knowledge, but really deepened your understanding of what CAPM requires. And what really stands out, I think, is how each question and the discussion around it reinforces not just what the answer is, but why it matters. We kept trying to connect it back to the PMBOK, the Agile Practice Guide.
Right.
And that approach, understanding the why, the underlying concepts, the practical side, that's what you need for real confidence on the CAPM exam, not just, memorizing facts.
So what does this all mean for you listening as you prep for your CAPM? Well, this deep dive should hopefully make it clear that targeted practice, really getting the why behind concepts, and consistent review are absolutely key. And if you're serious about making your KPM prep as effective and, frankly, as efficient as possible, we really do recommend checking out Flash Genius.
Yeah, Flash Genius offers, unlimited practice questions across all the CAPM domains, full-length exam simulations so you can build up that test-taking stamina, and it even has AI-powered performance tracking that pinpoints your specific weak spots.
That sounds useful.
It is. Plus, they have personalized study plans, interactive flashcards, and this smart review feature that's designed specifically to turn any mistake you make into a real learning opportunity. It's a truly modern AI-driven way to help you master the concepts quickly and feel confident.
Imagine not just knowing the right answer, but actually understanding why the wrong answers are wrong, learning from those common traps people fall into. They even have things like a built-in Pomodoro timer to help you stay focused during study sessions.
Yeah.
Flash Genius really combines that smart guidance, engaging learning tools, and comprehensive resources to make the whole certification journey hopefully less stressful and way more effective.
It really is designed for that.
So consider how a tool like Flash Genius could maybe transform your study process, not just to pass an exam, but to really grasp the dynamic world of project management. Because after all, learning doesn't stop at the certification, right? The journey is continuous. So what new project management concept will you master next, and how will that help you level up your career?